Hello, this is Joe Kennedy, and he's here to show us an unusual multi-joint movement that actually trains your overall body. So he's going to walk up and address the bar. Joe basically learned to train with weights from a YouTube video, which is really the purpose of what we're doing here today. So he's going to show us a bunch of classic moves that are put together to train your overall body. We're going to break this thing down at the end and show you how to do each individual component. So right now Joe has soft knees, feet are shoulder width apart, and he's doing what's called a hanging cling. So he's going to do a hanging cling, and he's going to show us how this goes together, a front squat and an overhead press. And he's going to come back down to the start position. Notice when he takes off, he is doing a triple extension. He's coming up on his legs, he's using his knees, his hips, and then he's also using his shoulders. So this not only trains your calves, your quads, your hips, your trunk, strong core, but also your shoulders, your forearms, your grip. That's plenty. Go, Joe. Okay, now Joe's going to hesitate for a minute and breathe, and he's going to show us how to break this movement down. So watch the first component. He's going to do a couple of clings. This is called a cling. So you might want to break this down where as you start up with your feet and your arms, you're trying to make one fluid movement and flip that bar up and over. And see, you might step forward, you might lose your balance. That's common, okay? This trains your whole physique. Now Joe's going to show us a front squat. So he's coming up. Now this is the front squat. So you'd load that bar off the rack like this. And notice that his hips come back first, then the knees, then the ankles. He is going below parallel. You do not have to do that. You could just go to parallel, but absolutely if you can break parallel, you are going to use a lot more glute. Lastly, he's going to show us how to do a military press. So he's taking a little break here. Notice you could use straps to do this movement, which would help the forearms not get tired. But if you do, Joe here is a piano player, so actually the flip on the cling is a good counter movement to how his forearms are going to tighten up from playing the piano. So probably not too many piano players doing this movement here, but Joe. All right, here we go. Joe's going for the overhead press. He's coming up now. This is a military press to the front. So watch him come up, and he's coming right back down. Again, you could break this down into the third movement. Notice how he uses a little knee thrust to get that bar up, okay? Because when you put it all together, you have to do it in that fashion. So Joe's going to do one more for us here in just a sec and show us exactly how you put it all back together. All right, Joe. Thanks, Joe. That's awesome. So this movement is a great movement. It's very hard to do what Joe just did. He's a very fit guy. So do not try this at home until you have broken down the components and learned how to do this. You may only be able to do sets of 2 or 3 to start with until you can actually build up. If you want to have the height that you get from the 45-pound plates, you may want to do that in a power rack where you can lift it off lower pegs than we have here in our squat rack. Thank you and good luck.